Now, one of my guests tonight is the Depute Rector of the Queen Anne High School. His school is now organising, it's been nearly a year in the making, the Cluster Olympics, which is a tribute to the upcoming 2012 Olympics in London. It will be held over 2 days, and it will consist of Queen Anne High School pupils, S1 pupils, and primary schools around the area. 600 pupils are expected to participate, and we've got a couple of former Olympians helping out as well. And they even had a torch relay around the entire circuit of Queen Anne High School, which was 27 miles, which must have been an absolute killer on the feet. So we're going to speak to Peter Billington, the Depute Rector, just now to find out more about that. So Peter, welcome to the Friday Night Lounge on Radio West Fife.
I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
So when it comes to the Cluster Olympics, now we know one of the ideas behind it's why it was inspired, obviously, with the 2012 Olympics. But in terms of the community side of it, what inspired the Cluster Olympics?
Well, I think as a very large school in Dunfermline, I think it's very important that we link with all the stakeholders. And obviously, the three lots of stakeholders are pupils, teachers, parents. But as well as that, there's the local community. And I think if we can get local communities involved in schools more and more, it's to the betterment of the local community and of the school. So everybody benefits from that. And what we've tried to do with regard to the Cluster Olympics, in the variety of sports that we've got, we've included as much as possible the local sports clubs to run the particular activities.
Of course. And how did they become involved in the Cluster Olympics?
Well, basically, we've got an active schools sports coordinator, Andrew Baird, who's consistently linking both with the community and with the school and with the 13 associated primary schools. He's organising events that run each year throughout the year. So he has these links already established with the clubs. So it seemed the best option was to actually invite Andrew to be part of the committee to set this up, to set up the linkages with the clubs. And that's been absolutely brilliantly successful because the schools themselves have bought into this, and they've often come over the last probably 3 to 4 months up to Queen Anne High School to link with, say, the tennis club or the hockey club or the gymnastics club to practice some of the events prior to the day coming in. So we've had groups of primary schools coming up to Queen Anne High School using the excellent facilities that we've got to practice, promote sport, health and well-being. It's been tremendous.
And when we mention the schools being involved, what primary schools are also involved in the Cluster Olympics?
We have 13 primary schools. You would be testing me now to name all 13, but I'll do the very best that I can. We've got Wellwood, Bellyeoman. We went from there. We did a torch relay just last week, so I should know because we visited each of the schools. From Bellyeoman, we went down. We went to Milesmark, Maclean, Carnock. From Carnock, we went to Inzivar. From Inzivar, we went up to Salon. From Salon, back down to Blair Hall. Blair Hall to Couros. Couros, we went to Kearney Hill. Kearney Hill to Crossford. Crossford to Pittencrieff, and Pittencrieff back to Queen Anne High School. Hope nobody was counting there, just in case I missed anybody out.
Well, I wasn't counting, so I think you've managed to count most of them, if not all. So we'll safely say that one. But all that together is about 27 miles, which is a huge distance.
Yes, what we did was we had 12 runners from Queen Anne High School. And then we had numerous runners from each of the primary schools. And the idea was that the group of 12 from Queen Anne High School would run the total distance, and the primary schools would run the distance between their primary school and the next primary school. We had full cooperation of the community police, who were absolutely brilliant. They set up a police car at the back, a police car at the front. We had 2 minibuses in the middle, to ensure health and safety was a premium because we were running on very busy roads, etc. What was really brilliant about it was that the people in the different areas came out. We have a fantastic photograph and video of the community in Town Hill, all waving their Union Jacks as the runners went along the road up to Town Hill School. And it was the same on many of the different schools.
Fantastic. And now the teams get to choose a country to represent in the Cluster Olympics. Your school chose China.
Well, basically what we did is we looked at the populations of the top 14 countries who competed at the last Olympics in Beijing, and we allocated the countries to the primary schools according to the size of population, because we have some quite small primary schools like Wellwood, who ended up as Jamaica, and then we have the very large secondary school who ended up as China. So we tried to mix and match according to the Olympics and what happens there.
And the choice of countries actually also has a relation outside of this event, because outside of this event there's going to be some lessons at your school that are going to have an international theme.
Oh yes, in Queen Anne High School we're the Confucius hub for Fife, which means we have a Confucius classroom, which means we're promoting Chinese language and culture, and have been doing that since 2010. So we have inbuilt across the curriculum at certain times within certain subject areas links to China.
And you also, what sports are on offer?
Again, you're testing me now, which is very good. We have football, hockey, basketball, badminton, indoor rowing, indoor cycling, hockey, archery, athletics, swimming. I think I've got them all there.
I think that's pretty much all of them,
which is a considerable number.
Yes. If it's not the full number, then we'll just safely say that they weren't in the list. So there we go. Now, you also have an adopted Olympian thing going on.
We did, yes. What we decided to do, one of our members of staff links quite closely with the British volleyball team. And several members of the British volleyball team, women's volleyball team, are actually from Scotland. And of course, women's volleyball is quite a minor sport in comparison to some places in the world, where Brazil, etc., excel in that. And they don't get as much funding as many of the sports, particularly the likes of athletics, etc. So it's not a high-profile sport. So we decided we would join that scheme and that we would support, as much as we could, some of the Scottish representatives of the GB women's volleyball team. So many of the primary schools and the secondary schools were running sponsored competitions to raise money for that. At Queen Anne High School, we had a sponsored row. We're currently collecting money in for that, and we're around about £300. One of the most outstanding schools so far was Kearney Hill Primary School, who have raised over £1,000.
Nice one.
So we're not sure what the total is yet, because we've still got a couple of more weeks to gather that in and then send it away.
Excellent. That's absolutely fantastic. Now, when we speak about the Olympians, you have two ex-Olympians helping out with the giving out of the medals.
We do. We have Craig Heap, who was an Olympian in gymnastics and a Commonwealth gold medalist in gymnastics. We also have Kim Slaymaker, who was Kim Wilkinson, who competed in the 1976 Montreal Olympics as a 15-year-old swimmer. So both of those have agreed to come along, and Craig can only come on the one day. Kim is going to come on both days. They'll be round and about just enjoying the atmosphere of what's going on, watching the young people compete. They will also be involved in the medal presentations, because as in the Olympics, we hope to have gold, silver and bronze in each of the events. And our music department have put together the anthems of the 14 competing countries. So we'll have a medal ceremony that will include the giving out of the medals and the national anthems played.
Fantastic. And just finally, When and where is it happening? Because I believe this is open to the public.
Well, it's open to those who obviously have relations within the school, who would be interested in coming along. It's on Thursday and Friday, the 7th and 8th of June. It's at Queen Anne High School. The proceedings start at 10 o'clock each day on those days, and they finish around about 3 o'clock. We would be delighted for parents, friends, grandparents, aunties to come along and support the event, support the youngsters enjoying sport. It's also a way in which the primary sevens from the local primary schools who are coming to Queen Anne have an idea of the transition. They're going to meet all of the first years. There's going to be a mix between the young people, and I think that can only be good for the future of education in Queen Anne High School.
It can only be a good thing, getting the community involved and actually giving kids the inspiration to actually learn about this. Yeah. So Peter Billington, thank you very much for coming into Radio S Fife to talk about the Cluster Olympics.
It's been a pleasure and a privilege, and hopefully we get some good weather on Thursday and Friday and we see you all there. Thanks very much.